this little thing. Like a, I don't know what it is. Like a Who from Whoville. Hi, readers. It's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, or welcome if this is your first time. You know, I'm happy that you're all here, and I'm happy to finally be getting to the December 2025 most anticipated reads that are on my list. December is typically not a huge month for publishing, but I have enough that I think you'll enjoy them, and there are some really great ones on this list. Like, I'm really trying hard not to buy anything in December. This is going to be really difficult, though, I have to say. So just stay tuned because I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm going to use my library. I'm maybe going to not get physical books because, you know, sometimes that takes up a lot of room and space and stresses me out when I see them. So we shall see what happens. But let's start with the first one on my list, which I have said to my family. If you're going to get me something for Christmas, this is going to be the one. The first one comes out on December 2nd. It already has 4.40 stars, and it's only had 10 people who've rated it or reviewed it. This is Somewhere, a Boy and His Bear, A. Milne and the Creation of Winnie the Pooh by Giles Brandreth. You guys, I squealed when I saw that this was coming out. And I cannot wait. It's been really, really hard for me not to talk about this book already. So this is the 100th anniversary of the publication of Winnie the Pooh by A. Milne, who was a playwright, a poet. He was he wrote crime fiction, I think. He was a polemicist, which if you didn't know what that is, it's someone who argues in debates and, you know, has some strong opinions. He was a humorist. I think that's it. Did I say playwright? And he also created Winnie the Pooh and the other characters in these novels. And I have to tell you that this is one of my favorite books, and you're not surprised if you know me, of all time. All of these books changed my life, changed the way I grew up, changed everything for us as a family because we were all big fans of Winnie the Pooh and still are. So nonfiction about A. Milne, about his life. There were some challenges with his family. They were at times very wealthy. They were at times very poor. They didn't all get along well with each other. A lot of the stories I think that they tell about the family were from the 1920s and probably 30s, but the 1920s was a difficult time. How they survived some things, obviously, but also the strength of the work that he created and the connection that he had as a result with Walt Disney and with Elizabeth II. And, you know, he was sort of catapulted into the world, and people are still fans 100 years later. So we're going to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Winnie the Pooh this next year. And this one is a must. If I don't get it for Christmas, I'm going to buy it for myself. But I'm going to wait because I said this is on my Christmas list because I thought I should wait. But now I'm having second thoughts. All right, Dead Ringer by Chris Haughey comes out December 2nd. And this is a speculative fiction novel about the JFK assassination. This is not to be confused with Dead Ringer by Lisa Scottoline or Scottoline, because I understand she has a book called that too. And there's probably actually a number of them. This is fiction, though. It's a fictional story about what might have happened during the assassination of JFK. So it's thriller, mystery. So this is about two people that are trying to figure out, as most people still are, what happened to JFK. If you're one of the people, unlike me, who thinks that this is redundant and we need to just move on, I get it. I do. And I was watching another documentary last night about JFK and about the assassination, about the questions that still lurk underneath all of this. But this one is a former Secret Service officer and a Jesuit professor. And they're working together to try to find out some of the answers to these questions that we don't really have answers to about what happened in the assassination of JFK say on November 22nd, 1963. I'm actually surprised they didn't release this in November, but perhaps they just weren't ready to do that. But it's fixated on deciphering some of those conspiracies, obviously, the history behind all of this and what actually really did happen in the Dealey Plaza. But I have a feeling that because it says it's a thriller, that maybe they've uncovered some things they shouldn't, and they've connected to some people that now want them dead. So we shall see, but I can't wait to get to this one too. So now you know why I'm so excited about the books that are coming out in December. There is also another book by this same name, so make sure that you check out the author, but this is The Library of Fates by Margot Harrison. This also comes out December 2nd, has a 4.01 rating. Only 92 people have already rated it, and this mysterious thing happens for a librarian at the school that these two former classmates attended, and I think the librarian dies, and they go off on a quest to find out what happened. But in order to do this, they need to locate a rare book that allegedly can foretell your future if you confess a secret from your past. And there's also someone in this particular story that is intent on finding out what's inside that book. And I think they want to protect what's inside that book as well. This is designed to tell you who you are and who you could become, which I've always really appreciated those, speculative. And the Book of Dark Nights is the book that they are looking for, because if you write this intimate confession in the book, then you will receive a prediction for your future. And it comes in your own handwriting. I think it's going to be good. So mystery thriller, magical realism / fantasy. Look at me, another fantasy novel for me. Adult themed, and yes, please. Lots of people are talking about this book already. And again, also comes out on December 2nd. I know, that's the next one that I can't wait to read. Colm Toybeen, I think is how you say it, but you never know. I could have gotten it from someone who pronounced it incorrectly, who also wrote Brooklyn and Long Island, has written a new short story, and this comes out December 2nd as well. This is called A Long Winter. It has 3.64. Short stories are not always as complete as some people would like, or not as meaty as a novel. So if you've read Long Island or Brooklyn, which I have not yet, even though I own one of them, and you are looking for something deeper, this might not work for you. That just happens a lot. But this is set in Ireland, which I also love. It's a novella, clearly literary fiction, family, historical, and it is 144 pages. Miguel. He lives with his parents. His mother and his father have a big fight, and his mother steps out of the home and she does not return. They don't know where she is. And they live in the Pyrenees Mountains, so she could be really in danger, right? She could be starving and cold and dead. So he and his dad have just themselves, his brother's in the military, so he's nowhere near home. And so he and his dad go out to try to find his mom. They ask some of the people in the community to help as well, which is tricky because his dad's not well liked by his mother, by him, or the people in the community. So this guy's obviously a curmudgeon-y kind of guy. Meanwhile, though, Miguel is searching for his mom, but he's interrupted by a man named Manolo, who ends up coming to their home to help out, I guess, because they're, in the midst of all these other things that are happening. And Manolo kind of changes Miguel's life to some degree, I think. And the way that he changes that is probably because this novel is billed, or novella is billed, LGBT. So I just want you to know that, in case that's not your preference for reading, but this is fiction, historical fiction, short story set in Ireland, literary, and about family. And it might be good. It might be something that I would like to grab at some point. And I'd like to get some of those books by this author read before I would get to the novella. But it sounds interesting, and I really want to know if the mother ever comes back. The next one, also expected on December 2nd, wrong month, is Before I Forget by Tori Henwood Hone. This is a new author to me. She does have another novel out, but this one, You're going to know why. Okay, 338 ratings, and it's a 4.42. This is about Cricket Campbell, she works at a wellness center, but she's not well. And she's struggling with some things that happened in her past that really upended her in her life, and she's just not happy. She's 26 and she's just not particularly happy. She finds out that Cricket's dad, who has Alzheimer's, is progressing in this disease, and her sister wants to put him into a memory care facility. But Cricket doesn't want that to happen to them, so she agrees to take care of her dad and returns home to be able to do that. And she hopes to repair a strained relationship and shake herself out of this, space that she's in. But here's what weirdly happens. As she settles back into this home with her dad, she discovers that while he can't remember things, he actually can predict the future. Yes, that's exactly why. So he has this new rare gift where he can tell her what's going to happen. He then becomes sort of this prophetic oracle. She also now has to sort of examine some of the terrible things that happened to her and get clear with that, just to remember who she was, and then of course try to start a new life and to build anew, despite the fact that her dad is very, very ill, but she has to go back in order to go forward. I love this book premise. I love that it's got a lot of buzz. It's billed as coming of age, grief, contemporary, family, adult literary fiction. Yes, I want that one. And I love ducks. I don't love to eat ducks, but I love ducks. They're just, to me, some of the most beautiful, beautiful things on the earth. One I have on my list that is nonfiction, and it is 240 pages. It has a 4.18 rating. This is by Hoang Bo Rem or Bo Room, I don't know, and was translated by Shauna Tan. Came out in South Korea a long time ago, but it has been released here in the United States. And this is a book about books, essays, Asian literature, and it's nonfiction, as I said before, 240 pages. So here's why I want to read this. You're not going to be surprised by this. It's the question that makes us reflect. Why do we read? And what is it that we hope to get from reading? And are we reading for pleasure? Are we reading for experience? Like, what is the heart of why we read? So she takes a look and asks a number of questions for us to reflect on, to the relationship of joy of our books and what sort of place this has in our lives. And there's some essays, and there are things about immersing yourself in reading and things about writing. And it just sounds like something I really need right now, because I'm contemplating and trying to plan ahead for my intentions and my goals for 2026. And I've really kind of been a little challenged by this. And so I think like this would probably work out really well. I might get it on audio on Libro if it has a great narrator. That's the kind of the connection that I would need before. So there's always a sample, but I think this would be like right up my street, because it's a book about books, and I love that, but also really about one of my favorite hobbies in my life. So it's probably going to happen as well, but maybe not to buy. Maybe they'll have it at the library. This one is also nonfiction and also slightly difficult, I would think. This is called A Danger to the Minds of Young Girls. This is about Margaret C. Anderson, book bans, and the fight to modernize literature. This is expected to come out on December 9th of 2025, and it has a 4.46 rating so far, but not a lot of people have rated it. It's got about 13 ratings so far. This is about a woman who was always under fire for her comments about women's rights to have the right to vote, to have access to birth control, and even LGBTQ rights at that time. So she went from Chicago to New York to Paris, and she published a piece of work called The Little Review, which had progressive political ideas in it and boundary-pushing writing. Writers like T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, and others. And so she was just in the thick of this heat And so she found herself labeled a danger to the minds of young girls, and the government was trying to stop her and to silence her and to just let this go. And a lot of people were supporting her in making this work and other works available. This is by Adam Morgan, and he's a journalist and a literary critic, and so he's done a lot of research on Margaret C. Anderson and her journey. And I think she had a journal, which helps him to understand what was happening too, which I have to say, whenever I hear about this, I think about my journals and I usually throw them away, but I'm like, dear God, what happens if somebody gets onto my journal and I don't say a lot of awful stuff, but it just feels weird, right? Like I've just never wanted that to happen. It brings forward the fact that she was a heroine of arts and letters, and she was a feminist counterculture face in the public, and it sounds divisive and good. We shall see if I get to that one. All right, so this one is The Bird Watcher by Jacqueline Machard or Machard, I'm not sure. I read The Deep End of the Ocean a long, long time ago, way before Goodreads, so I don't have any rating on it. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I don't remember not liking it. Let's just say that. But it came out in like 95, 96, something like that. It was like I had kids at home. I love this cover. I love birds. It's really pretty. I did enjoy this author, I'm pretty sure. And it says it's a page-turning drama. It's a thriller. And this one is about Felicity Wilde. And Felicity is a teacher, I think. Nope, she's not. She has not been a teacher. She was a brilliant grad student, is what I think that they said. And then she ends up being an escort. And somebody dies. Double murder, actually. And she's convicted of this double murder. And she says, when she's convicted, I may not be innocent, but I am innocent of this crime. So a journalist whose name is Renee Bigelow has always thought that her life sentence was not fair and that she didn't do this. And Renee knows that her childhood was really tough and she's a kind of a difficult woman and she makes some choices that aren't always in her best interest. But Renee is sure that she's not capable of murder. So Renee goes a long way to try to see what she can uncover that, might say that the prosecution was wrong in this case and that they, should not have convicted her. But the problem is that Felicity won't say anything on her behalf. She just isn't going to talk. But Renee knows that she may be flawed, but she wouldn't lie. So that's what this book premise is. And it does sound good. 352 pages. And it is a most anticipated read for the fall by Zibby. I have no idea what Zibby is. So if you know, let me know because that is a new one to me. All right, that is it for today. We leave on that note. There were some others that were published in December, but these are the ones that I really thought I was most interested in, which therefore I hope that you are most interested in, since most of you read somewhat like me and some of you just like to listen to me chat about books. So either way, we're good. Let me know if you're anticipating any of these, as well as if you have read anything by these authors. I would love to know that. Let me know if you decided to pick one or two of these in December to read. Which ones would you be looking forward to the most? Which ones would you be struggling with, as I am, to not buy them? That would be fun. And then in the comments below, just leave some snowflakes or some wintry kinds of vibes, a Christmas tree, whatever you want to do, since these are December reads and since I'm about to begin Bookmas videos for the month of December. I have a long list and I'm planning ahead and I'm feeling really good about it because I do love Halloween so very much, but I also love the holiday season in December as well. So I have lots of great plans. I'll be talking about those soon as well. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for all your comments, your support, your subscription to my channel. Those of you who are new subscribers, I'm so happy you're here. I can't wait to get to know you and see you in the comments. Let me know if you want me to know that you're a new subscriber, because sometimes I can't always tell who's who based on the names of your, account at YouTube. So love to see and hear from you. And as always, happy reading. Bye.